Jurassic Park. It's a story about a rich guy who thinks it's a great idea to bring dinosaurs back to life and put them in a theme park, until they inevitably escape and start snacking on gas. Turns out, life finds a way to ruin everyone's vacation. The Jurassic Park story started with Michael Crichton, an author known for his science fiction and medical thrillers. Crichton first conceived the idea in the late 1970s, originally as a screenplay about a scientist who clones a dinosaur. Over time, he reworked the idea into a novel about a theme park filled with cloned dinosaurs, where things inevitably go horribly wrong. He published his first book of Jurassic Park, November 20th, 1990. Universal Studios and Steven Spielberg secured the rights for filming the novel before it was even published. Universal paid $1.5 million for the rights of the story and invested $63 million in the production of the movie. And rightly so, as it made over $900 million worldwide during its initial theatrical run, and inspired 6 more movies after it, making a franchise worth billions now. Director Steven Spielberg, already a legendary filmmaker, was fascinated by Crichton's novel and saw its cinematic potential. The project also fit within his lifelong fascination with dinosaurs, dating back to his childhood. He brought on fantastic actors to play key roles, like Richard Attenborough, David Attenborough's brother, as John Hammond, Sam Neill as Dr. Alan Grant, Laura Dern as Dr. Ellie Sattler, Jeff Goldblum as Dr. Ian Malcolm, whose quirky, chaotic philosophy became legendary, Samuel L. Jackson as Ray Arnold, Wayne Knight as Dennis Nedry, the infamous saboteur who gets eaten by acid-spitting dinos, Bob Peck as Robert Muldoon, Ariana Richards and Joseph Mazzello as Lex and Tim Murphy, who are Hammond's grandchildren. Jurassic Park supercharged Goldblum and Jackson's careers. For others like Attenborough, it was a capstone on an already legendary career. Sam Neill and Laura Dern gained wider recognition but continued in more character-driven films. Meanwhile, Wayne Knight and the child actors saw their pop culture status rise even if they didn't remain on Hollywood's spotlight. Jurassic Park remains a landmark film in science fiction and adventure cinema. It not only brought dinosaurs back to life for new generations, but also reshaped the film industry with its blend of CGI, practical effects, and high-concept storytelling. Crichton's novel was ahead of its time, and Spielberg's adaptation turned it into one of the most beloved franchises in movie history. The film's themes about playing God, corporate greed, and the unpredictability of nature still resonate today.
I've often heard that if you want to be a great filmmaker, study the film of Jurassic Park and strive to learn from it. Steven Spielberg achieves things that every filmmaker should aim for, like outstanding visuals, compelling character development, thrilling and emotional suspense, and of course, having Jeff Goldblum. There are many scenes that I could discuss for the movie. However, I want to explore a simple one that you probably don't think of when you think of the movie. That is of Dennis Nedry's death. Despite being a short scene, it captures many important elements into creating a unique story. Apart from the dinosaurs, Dennis Nedry is the main antagonist of the movie. He doesn't seem like a typical villain of a movie. He isn't like a terrible monster, a fighter, or a super genius. He's just a fat, average Joe with an ugly shirt. However, he is designed in such a way that we understand where he's coming from, but we still recognize him as a villain, and we don't agree with him trapping people on Killer Dino Island. The scene starts with an amazing set that's just cool to look at. Skipping ahead a bit, we are met by our first Dilophosaurus, and we know karma is about to come. However, this isn't just a greedy guy gets killed by a monster truck. There is some logic behind this as Nedry aggravates the dino. We see here that the Dilophosaurus was just following typical animal behavior. She wasn't a bloodthirsty monster, she was just curious of this new creature in her habitat. As the scene goes on, the dinosaur isn't aggressive. She only gets aggressive here, as Nedry lifts his hood up. Notice how the dinosaur starts to rise up. This hood raise is very similar to how Dilophosaurs expand their own frill to look bigger. It's a very subtle attention to detail, and it carefully and subconsciously plants in the audience's head what's already going to happen.
Yeah, look, stick, stupid. That's a stick, boy.
It doesn't help that Nedry also turns his back to the Dilophosaurus to make her feel even more threatened, as some animals get aggressive when you turn your back to them. Here we get some excellent camera angles and a great look on the dinosaur animatronics. Some more humor as Nedry fumbles to get inside the car, and a slow and satisfying defeat as he loses the Emperors. The audience is fooled by the silence, but gets a sudden sound and slow reveal of the second Dilophosaurus, and thus ends a main antagonist, only halfway through the movie, and thus proves how much of a bigger threat these dinosaurs are for the characters. Although it's just a very simple scene, it still shows how much detail the filmmakers went into creating this movie. If you want to create a masterpiece of a film, then every scene, every character, and every interaction needs to be intentional, and Jurassic Park captures this perfectly. It is possible, even if you don't have Jeff Goldblum.
Holds an impressive 91. Jurassic Park is one of Steven Spielberg's most iconic films, referenced in countless movies and TV shows. Upon its release, it won multiple awards, including Best Science Fiction Film, Best Direction, Best Writing, and Best Special Effects. It holds an impressive 91% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, with most criticism stemming from the differences between the book and the film. Dinosaurs have captivated audiences for over a century, appearing in films as early as 1914 with Gertie the Dinosaur, and later in Disney's groundbreaking Fantasia in 1940. However, Jurassic Park was the first film to bring them to life in a way that truly felt real. Even with today's advancements in CGI, the visual effects in Jurassic Park have aged remarkably well, especially compared to some later films like Deep Blue Sea in 1999, which featured notably less convincing creatures. Beyond its cinematic achievements, Jurassic Park reignited public fascination with dinosaurs. Following its release, the San Diego Natural History Museum launched a dinosaur exhibit featuring props from the film, drawing an average of 2,000 visitors a day, triple its usual attendance. This surge was critical for the museum, which had been struggling financially. But the film's impact extended beyond museum crowds. It also inspired an entire generation of paleontologists, often referred to as the Jurassic generation. The film's legacy continues to thrive. Jurassic Park launched a massive franchise with its latest installment, Jurassic World Rebirth, starring Jonathan Bailey and Scarlett Johansson, set to release in July 2025. From its groundbreaking CGI to its cultural impact, Jurassic Park remains a cinematic masterpiece, one that didn't just bring dinosaurs to life on screen, but reshaped how we see them in the real world.